All right, let's dive into the story of a plant that honestly looks like it flew straight out of a Gothic fairy tale. We're talking about a flower with a seriously dark reputation, a huge air of mystery, and, as we're about to find out, some absolutely incredible secrets.
I mean, come on, just look at this thing with that deep, almost jet black color, those massive wing-like structures, and these long, creepy whiskers hanging down. The black bat flower is designed to make you stop and stare. It is so dramatic, a little bit spooky, and for sure one of the most unique-looking things on the entire planet. But here's the thing. For decades, scientists were pretty sure they knew what this whole extravagant display was for. It turns out they were way off. And a closer look revealed a wild story of mistaken identity, a totally unsolved evolutionary puzzle, and a hidden power that could, one day, change modern medicine as we know it.
So, to really appreciate the huge surprise at the heart of this story, we first have to understand what scientists believed for so long. And it all starts with the idea that this flower was a master trickster.
Okay, so this is Tacca chantrieri, and its nicknames, they tell you everything you need to know about its reputation. Devil's flower, cat's whiskers, tiger beard. I mean, all these names paint this picture of something wild, maybe a little dangerous, and definitely mysterious. It's a true enigma.
So, based on its dark color and just its whole vibe, scientists put it under this huge, complicated-sounding term, sapromyiophily. But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It's what's called a deceit syndrome. The theory was that the flower was pretending to be rotting meat or dung to trick flies into coming over. Those flies would then accidentally pollinate it and get absolutely nothing in return, a classic bait and switch.
And listen, this was not some French theory. As you can see from a key research paper on it, this was the main scientific assumption for ages. The flower's entire, elaborate costume seemed to have one job and one job only: fool a bunch of flies. But what if the audience you're trying to fool never actually shows up?
And this is where the story takes a massive, unexpected turn. Because when researchers finally decided to test this whole deceit theory in the field, they found something that just completely blew it out of the water.
So, the expectation was this bustling hub for carrion flies, all getting tricked into doing the plant's dirty work. The reality? Not so much. Pollinator visits were almost non-existent. Field studies showed that this plant, with its massive look-at-me display, was actually a total recluse. It was relying almost entirely on self-pollination.
And the evidence just kept piling up, systematically dismantling that old theory. So first, researchers put bags over the flowers to keep any insects out. Guess what? They still produced tons of seeds. Then they literally cut off the dramatic wings and whiskers, and seed production didn't drop at all. And here's the final nail in the coffin. They found pollen was already on the flower's stigma before it had even fully opened. It was pollinating itself while still in the bud. Genetic analysis just sealed the deal. They found an average selfing rate of 0.86. Now, what that means is that about 86% of the time, this plant's babies are the result of it fertilizing itself. It doesn't need a partner, it doesn't need a fly, it handles business all on its own. And this number right here is another huge piece of the puzzle. You see, plants that need pollinators have to make a ton of pollen, right? It's like buying 1,000,000 lottery tickets to increase your chances. But self-pollinating plants, they can be way more efficient. The bat flower's super low pollen-to-ovule ratio of 49 is exactly what you'd expect from a plant that isn't wasting all that energy, putting on a show for guests that never arrive. But okay, this amazing discovery didn't really solve the mystery. It just created a brand new and maybe even deeper one. With the whole deception theory debunked, a new question popped up. And this became the central paradox. If the black bat flower isn't trying to attract flies, then why on earth does it put on this incredible, energy-guzzling Gothic performance? I mean, why evolve such an elaborate costume for a show that has no audience?
And the best part is, science doesn't have a single definitive answer yet. It just shows that science is this living, breathing process. The leading ideas are fascinating, though. Maybe the whole display is just an evolutionary leftover, a relict trait from ancient ancestors that really did need flies. Or, get this, maybe its spooky look isn't to attract things, but to scare them away, like a keep-out sign for animals that might want to eat it. Another cool idea is that those big, dark wings are basically solar panels, helping the plant soak up sunlight on the dim forest floor.
So the mystery of its disguise is still up for debate. But it turns out while scientists were all focused on what the flower looked like, they were missing its most profound secret. And this one has nothing to do with botany and everything to do with medicine. Because hidden deep inside the cells of this bizarre plant is a chemical arsenal with just breathtaking potential.
So I want you to meet the Taccalonolides. They're a really unique class of steroids found in the black bat flower. And their superpower? They're incredibly potent microtubule-stabilizing agents. Now, in simple terms, microtubules are kind of like the internal skeleton of a cell. And what these Taccalonolides can do is freeze that skeleton right in its tracks.
And this slide right here perfectly illustrates why that is such a big deal. You've probably heard of Taxol. It's one of the most successful chemotherapy drugs ever made. Well, it works in the exact same way. By stabilizing those microtubules, it locks up a cancer cell's internal machinery, which makes it totally impossible for that cell to divide and multiply. The Taccalonolides, they do the same thing.
So you might be wondering, okay, if we already have Taxol, why is this so exciting? Well, here's the kicker. Cancer is smart. Cancer cells can actually develop resistance to drugs like Taxol, often by creating these tiny pumps that just spit the drug right back out. But the Taccalonolides are different. They seem to be able to bypass those resistance mechanisms. In fact, some studies have shown that cancer cells that are resistant to Taxol are actually more sensitive to Taccalonolides. It's incredible. This flower's secret weapon could one day be a game changer against drug-resistant cancers. So what started as a pretty simple question about a weird-looking flower has taken us on this incredible journey through botany, evolutionary biology, and all the way to cutting-edge cancer research.
Let's just quickly recap this amazing story. We started with what everyone thought was a master of deception. The reality was a total recluse. This created a new paradox. Why the disguise? Which is still a puzzle for scientists. And then, underneath all of that, we found its hidden power. A chemical compound that could become a next-generation weapon in the fight against cancer.
And that leaves us with a truly profound thought. The black bat flower was hiding all of this while just sitting there in the forest. It just makes you wonder, if one strange plant can hold this many layers of mystery and potential, what other secrets is nature hiding, just waiting for us to discover?